What's up, guys? Just Chasen Palick here with Justin Chen,
What's up?
doing our coverage for the first ESPN UFC card.
Yeah, we got a little early morning show for you guys today. Unlike the usual, we should really get the schedule down for this stuff. But yeah. So our last episode had no sound because we're stupid. So we're gonna redo this one for you guys real quick. It'll be quick and easy. So let's get started.
We're gonna be covering some fights from the early prelims, and the main card. And actually, if you guys didn't know, the prelims are on national television on ESPN.
For free.
And everybody likes for free, so tune in and watch Cowboy and a young boy fight each other.
All right, let's get started. Belal Muhammad versus Jeff Neal. So Jeff Neal's just coming to UFC. I think he's had one fight.
Yeah, he had a Tuesday Night Contender Series fight, and then he just fought Frank Camacho, who's actually been around for a while.
Yeah, so he's already, proven his skills. I mean, I actually don't know too much about this other guy.
Belal Muhammad's just really solid. He's
all around.
Yeah, he's been fighting good welterweights and proving himself. And actually, a fun fact about him, he still trains during Ramadan.
I respect those guys. Yeah, they're crazy. Some of them do their weight cuts during it.
Yeah, because they don't, if you guys aren't familiar with Ramadan, you can't eat or drink water during the whole day, and then you do it all at night. You fast the whole day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And most of them cut weight at nighttime too. So if you don't eat the whole day and then you got to cut weight at nighttime. Yeah, it must be a real process.
But yeah, this guy, Jeff Neal, he's really patient. The Frank Camacho fight was amazing because Frank Camacho's a really tough guy, and Jeff Neal kind of just broke him down and
picks his shots.
Repeatedly beat him until that guy made a mistake, and then he just finished him with a left high kick to the face.
Yeah, I really like the guys that set stuff up like that.
Yeah.
They'll be looking for one thing the whole fight and just like setting it up because they know they got it.
An artist of strikes.
Yeah, the knockout artist.
But yeah, so this fight really interests me, and it amazes me that it's like the second fight on the card because I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, this whole card is pretty good. So I think it's good that they because the first fights are free and it's the first fight, they're trying to push it a little more. You got to get good fights on the card and stuff.
Yeah, cause I feel like it's the UFC like trying to like prove to the world like this is a really awesome sport.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah,
there's no lie about that. Fastest growing sport in the nation, in the world, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, this should be a really interesting fight. I expect to see Jeff Neal be patient and pick his shots, and Muhammad will probably come forward and grind.
Yeah, because I've been watching Muhammad's fights, and his chin's never really been tested, so we'll see what happens.
All the guys with sick beards usually have like really good chins. All right, on to Dennis Bermudez versus T. Edwards. Both of these guys are... Dennis Bermudez is pretty experienced veteran. T. Edwards just coming into the UFC pretty recently. But I think Dennis Bermudez is... T. Edwards does have the knockout power, and his wrestling I haven't seen too much of, but I think Dennis Bermudez's experience will probably help him a lot here.
I honestly... you guys didn't hear it when we talked about it last time, but I've changed my opinion on this. I think I watched the face-off. T. Edwards seemed very nervous. He was really cordial with him. I think Dennis Bermudez can pull it off. Like you said, I think he has the experience advantage, and he's strong. He's good at wrestling.
Yeah. But I think it really depends how they come out during the fight in the beginning, though.
Well, yeah, because you got to look at the 100% knockout rate.
This fool's crazy. But, a lot of guys have all knockouts before getting to UFC, and then they just get shut down.
Well, look at his first fight. He fought that guy from South Africa. I can't think of his name right now, but that guy finished him. That guy brutally knocked him out.
Yeah, so... Yeah, same as what you were saying. I think Dennis Bermudez's experience is really going to help him here. But he's going to have to be patient because T. Edwards probably comes out with a lot of power. You really have to respect that power.
And we've seen Bermudez get knocked out with power. Remember when he fought Korean Zombie?
Yeah.
That was a crazy uppercut.
Korean Zombie!
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should be an exciting fight to end off the early prelims, and we'll head on down on the stats. Yeah, as you can see, T. Edwards finishes his fights early, and Bermudez gets a little longer fight time, so...
Yeah, because Bermudez is like a grinder.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see how they implement their game plan. I think if T. Edwards can really chase him down, though, if he really pressures him, Bermudez might not be able to get his grind off.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like that's what's going to be the story of this fight. Like, who puts the pressure on who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you start putting the pressure, sometimes the guys that are pressuring, they still get fucked up.
That's what happened to him when he fought Korean
Yeah,
Zombie.
exactly.
He got
So
uppercutted.
It's how you can implement the game plan to a certain extent.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the prelims. Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. So Mario Bautista actually was subbed in just a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, John Lineker has a injury. I looked into it and I can't find out what it is. They're not releasing it. I guess fighters have this ego thing where they don't say what's hurt, but he's injured. Which I was really excited for that fight because I wanted to see if this guy was as good as he's looked in his past fights. Corey Sandhagen, I'm talking about. But yeah, Mario Bautista, we don't know too much about. It's his debut. But we know about Sandhagen. He's a grinder, ground and pound, good top control. And yeah, I think he's had like 4 or 5 fights in the UFC, and I think on his record he only has 1 loss. And if we look at his work rate, it's quite ridiculous. Like
that's like Max Holloway level with the output.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Like 10 strikes per minute. That's really good. And I'm pretty sure majority of them are on the ground.
Oh, because he's like a ground and pound artist, right? I remember the fight you were talking about.
Oh, against Alcatraz?
Mm-hmm.
The Brazilian guy?
Yeah.
Corey Sandhagen got rocked, and then he ended up just taking the guy down and just getting on top of him and just working him.
Have you heard most fighters that start with a certain discipline, when they do get rocked, they'll go to that discipline because it's what they know. So like the wrestlers will try to take you down, jiu-jitsu guys will get on their back, and like the strikers will probably just keep coming at you, like trying to punch you. But yeah, it's great to see someone with like a solid background, and even when they get rocked, they can still pull stuff off like that, like like Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
His first discipline was wrestling, but he's just a savage.
Yeah. Scary motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should be an exciting fight. We'll see how Mario Bautista comes out and makes his debut, but
he's literally blacked out. We don't know anything about him.
But yeah, first fight on the prelims. It should be exciting.
Yeah.
And on to the next one. Joanne Calderwood versus Ariane Lipski. Lipski's also making her debut, right?
Yeah, Lipski's making her debut, but I actually watched a lot of film on her yesterday, and she is ridiculous for this weight class. Finishing most of her fights by knockout. And yeah, this Joanne Calderwood, I don't know too much. Calderwood, excuse me. I don't know too much about her, but she definitely has a big test in front of her. And Lipski is from Curitiba, which is in Brazil. And I forget the academy which she fights out of, but yeah, she's really good at striking, good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. She's really solid all around. I think we'll see her jump the rankings soon.
Yeah, definitely. And like you were saying earlier, like just as when the UFC first started, all the Brazilian guys were dominating everything, and I think it's the same now because the women's division isn't too old yet. It's relatively new.
Yeah.
So obviously martial arts and fighting and all that, it's like a lot bigger over there, like in Thailand and Brazil. So we'll see like a lot of big fighters come out of there first. But yeah, I think it's also recently too, there have been more male fighters coming out of the UK. and I think the female fighters are also following
Yeah.
as well. So Joanne Calderwood coming out of the UK, looks like almost half her fights are finishes. I don't know the level of competition she's been fighting though, but it
Yeah.
does look like her output's pretty good. She
Yeah.
looks like she can put on a pace. So we'll see if she can handle the pace
And
of Lipsky.
That's another thing too. The competition that Lipsky's face. Who knows how good they are? Because I was literally focusing on her when I was watching her film. But that's just because she was crushing people.
Yeah.
Who knows who those people are?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Cyborg too, because she was just running through everybody before she got to. I mean, she still was doing it in the UFC until she got to Amanda Nunes.
Because she didn't have competition.
Yeah, exactly. So, you never know. Same thing, like all these undefeated fighters, they get up to the championship, and it's just not the same thing.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Exactly. Multiple times. So this should be an exciting fight. We'll see if Calderwood can come out and
derail the hype train.
Yeah, and she can. Well, how would you phrase this? If she can equalize the pressure and the power of Lipsky.
Just like the T. Edwards fight.
I really like the fights they're making recently because they're really hard to call. There's no. Sometimes, there are fights where you're just like, oh, yeah, that guy's going to win.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But the fights they're making recently, they're very competitive.
Yeah, I feel like on this card especially, because it's like the first ESPN card, they made really good matchups. And I feel like when they make fights where a guy is going to win for sure, it's usually to push that guy.
Yeah, in one championship when they were trying to push their star fighter, and it just totally backfired.
Yeah. All right, so the headliner, the prelims, free on ESPN. I'll remind you again, Channel 35, ESPN. Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Alexander Hernandez.
So this is a great fight to start off the first card, or end off the first card of the year. Donald Cerrone always brings it, and Alex Hernandez has been showing that he's able to put on the pressure. But one thing I do like about Donald Cerrone is no matter what weight class, no matter how long it's been since he's fought last and how he's been doing the last fights, there's always a chance he could win and land one of those super clean flush combos. And that's obviously why everyone loves to watch him fight. But did you hear what they were saying in the press conference about how
he doesn't care about his persona or his
and how he was like fighting for money before, but now he's fighting for the belt or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we're going to see a motivated Cowboy in the next couple months.
Yeah, I think Cowboy's a different type of dude, like he's always, even if he's fucking around, he's always like on that shit, He'll always be able to bring his game. But I don't know what it is with him, because sometimes he'll come into the cage and he has his look on his face where he looks really nervous and like he's not really ready to be there or wants to be there.
Exactly, like the Nate Diaz fight. Yeah. But I think with Alexander Hernandez, I think this guy's really strong, really confident. He's young. I think he's 24 years old. And he knocked out below no, I don't remember his first name, but Dariush. And he also fought the guy from Canada, OBS or OVS, and they just wrestled each other basically the whole time. And I think he might be in over his head right now. I was really unconfident in Cowboy at first, but after seeing the press conference and how arrogant this guy was, I think he's in over his head. Yeah. And he's not going to be able to take Cowboy down. And if he does, he's going to get submitted. And if he stands with them, he's playing with fate. Like you just said it earlier, flush combos by Cowboy. You never know. Get punched,
when
get
they're gonna
kicked.
come. Yeah, you could be getting punched the whole fight and just knock you out like that. But it does look like he has more knockouts, but not as many submissions.
But Cowboy has 40 fights.
Yeah,
so the percentages drop a little bit. And look at that work rate by Cowboy.
Even Cowboy even at this stage in his career, still has a higher. I mean, that's an average, but he's still putting out a lot of high output at this stage in his career.
He's definitely a volume guy.
Yeah, which we'll see how. I don't know how Alex Hernandez does into the later rounds.
He's
But
never been to the later rounds.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see if he can keep up with the pace of Cowboy, because you know Cowboy can put on a pace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he didn't slow down.
Cowboy's kind of an amazing fighter, and I think that's why I'm a little biased on all this. I apologize, but he's literally like everything. He's like a submission guy, a wrestler, a finisher, a volume guy. But yeah, great fight to end the prelims on national television. I think a lot of people will be tuning in, and Cowboy's a star. You know, people know who he is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think seeing someone who's, I guess, well, if you're not really into the sport, you know, for people to see someone who's like technically not as fit,
Yeah.
like, quote unquote fit.
Well, he's like 38 years old. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, but they're not really gonna, care about that.
Yeah.
But it's seeing someone who's like not as fit be able to beat someone who's totally ripped guy, you know, like
some
totally
young
ripped young kid.
Yeah.
It'll probably bring like a lot of attention to the sport.
We're gonna move on to the main card, but one last thing to say about Hernandez. I think if he does take the loss, that he'll learn from it. He seems like he has the mindset of a champion, and
Yeah, like he was saying, since his first fight, he's been going for that belt, and
Yeah.
that's definitely the right mindset. But a lot of times, what I just feel like if you start out a little early, you like burn out, and some of them, they don't try as hard when they get later in their career.
yeah,
Whereas, if you're like,
a journeyman. Yeah.
yeah, if you're just doing it for the whole journey, and like the belt's more of like a side
Yeah.
project kind of thing, then those are the guys that really like progress and like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what we've seen with Cowboy. He's become amazing. But sorry for talking so much about that fight. That's an awesome fight. You guys, please tune in.
Yeah, for free.
For free. So we got Glover Teixeira versus Carl Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
And Teixeira, we know he's been around.
Yeah,
He's a
brawler always brings it. Very exciting fighter. Even at even at this stage in his career, still a brawler, still very exciting. Always exciting to watch his fights. And Carl Robertson has won his last fight. Was he on the Tuesday?
Yeah, he was on the
Contender?
Tuesday
Yeah.
Night Contender Series. New blood. He looks very athletic, so we'll see what happens in this fight. Glover Teixeira is barely a favorite, which I disagree with. And you never know with these young guys versus old guy fights. Like,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times, people will count out the younger guy or the older guy. I mean, just because they're late in their career and they have like, glass jaws
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
But
that whole
but yeah, some of them just they never really step off their game. They can always bring it, and I think Glover Teixeira is definitely one of those guys. Yeah, so we'll see if Carl Robertson can brawl with him, but I think he's like a submission artist, right?
if we look at the stats, yeah, he's definitely a grappler. He's submitted half of his victories, so
Yeah, so he'll probably be trying to go for takedowns if Glover's like constantly pressuring and stuff, and that might not be too good for Teixeira, but
yeah.
yeah, we'll just see how the game plan
Because we
goes.
saw with this fight with Corey Anderson just ragdolled him the whole time. But Glover has good wrestling. Corey Anderson's really good. One of the best wrestlers in the division.
Yeah. So I guess we'll have to see how good Roberson's wrestling actually
yeah.
is. Yeah.
That's why I like these fights. They set them up to test each other. But in my personal opinion, I think this fight's going to end fast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Either way it goes.
Yeah. I mean, Glover Teixeira's fights, I think, because though he's had so many fights, his average fight time's still within 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So definitely one of those fights that are going to end quickly and should be very exciting to see to start off the card.
Both have a pretty average work rate. So
yeah, and definitely Teixeira, being the brawler, has more strikes put out per minute, even though he's not as accurate.
And more strikes landed on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll move on to the next fight on the card. We have Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich. This fight was getting a lot of hype in my personal opinion, because they're both really good looking. But also Rachel Ostovich had some domestic abuse issues, and Greg Hardy's the co-headliner. And we all know he had his controversy when he was in the NFL. He abused a woman, so it's getting a lot of push. But both these women are really good martial artists. Rachel Ostovich had a armbar submission victory on the Ultimate Fighter. And Paige Van Zandt, we know she's been around fighting the best of the best for a couple fights now.
Yeah, apparently she's weighing in at 155 this fight. So
Got a little mishap by the UFC.
but yeah, Paige Van Zandt has lost her. She's on a losing streak, right?
Yeah, I
Like
think
her
she has a
loss,
2-fight.
two or three
yeah.
fights. So she should be coming back, looking to redeem herself, getting back into the rankings. One thing I do like about Paige Van Zandt is she throws a lot of flashy stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's what really catches the audience and like moves you up the rankings, because like what really matters is you have the fans behind you, right?
Yeah, because that's who's paying your check.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really like that she comes out and tries to, you know, do the flashy stuff, and that obviously means she like works on it in practice and
Yeah.
stuff.
And she's really well-rounded. She has the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu,
Mhm.
the striking, everything. She's
Yeah,
a really good
just
fighter.
a great athlete
And a pretty good-
dancer.
a good build for the division. Solid height for power, but not too lanky, not too short. I think she's just a really well-rounded martial artist.
Yeah, it should be an exciting fight. And Rachel Ostovich doesn't go for knockouts, mostly submissions and decisions. So I think Paige Van Zandt will probably try to catch her off like a takedown or something.
Yeah,
But
I agree, because Rachel Ostovich doesn't really have the experience, so it'd probably be really good to put her on her back and let Paige Van Zandt do her work on the ground.
yeah. So again, we'll see who implements their game plan better. But I think the game plan for Paige Van Zandt is to try come out and get a knockout or a finish of some sort, and Rachel Ostovich is probably just gonna go for the submission.
Yeah,
well.
just grind her out. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next fight, or no, go to that. Joseph Benavidez versus Dustin Ortiz.
Oh, oops, I clicked the wrong.
We have a flyweight fight on the bout. It's funny because of all the rumors. They're saying that they're trying to kill the flyweight division, but in my opinion, this is going to be a barn burner. Both guys look pretty intense in the face-off. Kind of seemed like Dustin Ortiz wasn't taking Benavidez seriously, but we all know Benavidez is a great martial artist. He mixes it up with his takedowns, his strikes, everything.
Yeah, and the attributes on these guys practically identical. They're literally like the same size, except one of them has way bigger tries.
Yeah.
But did you hear, or you watched the whole press conference, right?
Yeah, I did.
What did Dana White say about the flyweight division? I know someone asked him about it.
He wouldn't comment on it the whole time. He avoided every question and was saying, we'll see what happens Saturday night. So I'm pretty sure that means, we all know
The
Dana.
usual response.
Yeah, we all know Dana. I'm pretty sure that means the flyweight division is gone. But I'm hoping these guys can save it because Henry Cejudo isn't. So
Yeah. That fool's talking a lot of shit.
Yeah. But yeah, Benavidez, good work rate, solid wrestler. Dustin Ortiz been around forever fighting best of the best, so I think this is going to be a really good fight.
Two very experienced fighters. But Benavidez, I think, does pressure a little bit more, just because
he's definitely a pressure fighter.
I think he has that stamina and power to like pressure a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, obviously Dustin Ortiz has had 3-round fights as well, and he's gone the full distance, but I think Joseph Benavidez can pressure a little better, and he's going to be able to put his cardio to work a little better.
Yeah, because Benavidez comes from a wrestling background, so he's just got that edge, like the competitiveness.
That work hard, no pain, no gain kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But
mindset.
Ortiz, we've seen fighting the best of the best. He's been knocked down. He's had his ups and downs through his whole career, so we'll see what happens. But in my opinion, a really good little Easter egg of a fight.
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, like I'm really happy about this fight on the card because I think the flyweight division is great and they shouldn't take it away, but it looks like the UFC is kind of moving to take it away.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens if these guys or Henry Cejudo can save the division. And on to the next fight. Are we doing?
Yeah, we have Gregor Gillespie versus Yancy Medeiros. And Medeiros seems like he's in good spirits the whole fight week, but this guy Gillespie is a savage. He's a great wrestler, and he's undefeated. We've seen him just dominate all his competition in the UFC.
Yeah, and Medeiros also coming off a loss against Cowboy, right?
Yeah, he hasn't fought in almost
Which
like a
didn't
year.
really make sense to me how Cowboy's on the prelims and he's on the main card, but whatever. That's, how they do their thing.
Yeah. Well,
But-
like we were talking about earlier, I think they just have Cowboy there because it's on free TV and people
Yeah.
know who he is, so they
Yeah.
have him headlining it.
Yeah, he might even be getting paid more or something too.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Cowboy makes more than all these fighters.
Yeah. But yeah, Yancy Medeiros has the reach advantage, and I mean Gillespie.
Gillespie.
He's
Or Gillespie,
yeah,
sorry.
he's mostly a wrestler, right?
Yeah, no, he has good striking, though. He's like Benavidez. He mixes it up really good, and
okay.
he gets it. He has good boxing, good takedowns, everything. But the 5'10" height for Yancy Medeiros, I'm almost certain that guy is 6 feet tall
Yeah.
during the face-off. Like,
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Because Gillespie, I think, if he tries to, or if Yancy Medeiros can keep his distance and use his range, he might be able to nullify like the takedowns of Gillespie
Yeah.
and not have to deal with like the wrestling.
yeah.
So he could just worry about the striking.
And another thing with this guy, Gillespie, he we haven't seen him face a guy like Yancy. All the guys that he's faced in the UFC have been like no names, and Yancy we know can stand and bang with people.
Yeah.
He's a good striker.
He trains with Max Holloway.
Yeah, he trains with Max Holloway. Has really long arms, and we'll just have to see how his takedown defense holds up, because this guy is a savage.
Yeah. Well, we can actually check his defense right here. Takedown defense, 83%.
Okay,
That's pretty
yeah,
solid
that's a
to
good
me. Yeah.
But we'll look at this guy Gregor. Nobody can even attempt to take him down.
7 takedowns per fight on average.
Yeah, no, he's a grinder. This guy is crazy. In my opinion, he's going to jump the rankings in lightweight. But I'm glad to see a return to lightweight for Yancy.
Yeah, definitely. This should be a great fight. I also love the tattoos on Gillespie.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
very Cody Garbrandt-esque type
Yeah.
of thing.
But this guy's really humble. He's not arrogant. And I like I said earlier, I really like the return of Yancy to lightweight because I feel like he was too small for welterweight.
Yeah,
And
just too skinny,
Yeah.
not enough power.
Yeah, I think this is his weight class. So I'm really excited for this fight. Up and comer. And Yancy's almost an up and comer too, but he's proven himself in the octagon.
Yeah. I think, well, it's not funny, but it's just interesting to me when people move up from lightweight to welterweight, and they're like in the middle range, right? That's why they're trying
Yeah.
to make that like 165 division or whatever. But when people do jump up from like lightweight to middleweight, it almost seems unintuitive because I mean,
welterweight.
yes, you're going through an easier weight cut, but eventually, if you do make it to the top of the rankings, it's either Khabib versus Tyron Woodley. And personally, I think I'd rather face Khabib.
Yeah, exactly. It's like those welterweight guys are cutting so much weight. They're literally just like huge guys.
Yeah, they're like 205 guys that
Yeah.
cut down to welterweight.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of like sorry to bring this up because it has nothing to do with UFC, but in NBA there's like small forward to power forward. They're called
Yeah,
tweeners.
yeah, yeah.
There's
Mhm.
literally like tweeners between 55 and 70, and like you just got to find your home. And personally, I think Yancy's is at lightweight. I think he's a lot better at lightweight.
Yeah. It would be really interesting, though, if they do start the 165 division. I think we'll see a lot of fighters going from the lightweight and welterweight into that division. Like some of the best, probably.
Yeah, you and I have spoken about it off recording. They should just have it by 10 pounds for every weight class.
Because there's so many tweeners, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, not from the 125 to 155, because obviously that just goes by tens, but between 155 and 170, there's like a lot of tweeners there. But when you get past 170, it's all about, all the guys are pretty big.
Yeah, they're all just really big guys. But yeah, we'll move on to our next fight, the co-main event, Greg Hardy versus Alan Crowder. Alan Crowder's had a few fights in the UFC. I'm not too familiar with them, but this guy, Greg Hardy, is a beast of an athlete. He came from the NFL.
Big ass guy. I'm pretty sure he has to cut like a lot of weight to get down to 265.
Yeah. And look at the reach on him. And I'm sure he has huge hands. He's quick, fast. But he's only been doing MMA for a year. So this guy might just destroy him.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very not standard, but a very like cardio versus skill kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like athleticism versus skill.
Yeah.
And I think if Alan Crowder can be patient, it's a heavyweight fight, so it's not going to be
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a finish, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to go too long, but I think if he can be a little patient and wait for Hardy to make an inexperienced mistake, then he'd probably get his finish off.
Yeah, I think I hope this guy can wrestle, because if he can't, Greg Hardy is lightning quick for a big guy like that, and he's 6'5" with an 80-inch reach. Like, he's a really good specimen, and I'm glad that it's on this ESPN card because people know who he is. He plays football, or he played football, and I think he's gonna be in the rankings soon. He just started, so he's gonna be getting better every day.
Yeah, he just looks like a killer.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at him.
He beats women. Come on.
But yeah, Alan Crowder does have a few submissions under his belt, so even if it does go to the ground, I think there's still a chance he could possibly get the finish. But
yeah, and he has a high work rate.
That's a lot of punches per minute for a heavyweight.
Yeah, it is. But maybe he's just a brawler. I should have watched more film on him. I can't remember any of his fights, but he's been punched a lot. 15 strikes absorbed per minute.
Yeah, it looks like he takes a lot more than he lands.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a brawler, and I don't think that would go over too well with Greg Hardy.
Yeah,
being
I don't
a
think
brawler.
so either.
So I think if he comes out and he's a little bit more patient than usual, then I think he'll be able to pull us off. But
yeah, and we saw with Greg Hardy on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, he had 2 fights. The first fight, he fought another NFL player, a tall, lanky guy, and he just flatlined him with a straight right. And then his second fight, we got to see a little bit more volume. He fought that short, stocky guy. I can't remember his name. But he landed a lot of strikes. He put the pace on the guy and just ended up getting him out of there in the first round. Like, both his fights are first-round knockouts.
Yeah, this should be an amazing co-main event. Always great to see welterweights in the co-main event because there's always a finish.
Heavyweights.
Heavyweights. Little brain fart there. But yeah, that's always good to get you excited for the main card.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the main card. Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, TJ Dillashaw, we know he's almost got it figured out mentally pretty much. Like, if you listen to what he says and what he does in the octagon, he's an amazing performer. Good volume, mixes up his strikes. You never know what he's going to do. And then we have Cejudo, who's just a wrestler, a grinder. He's got good boxing. But both guys, very small.
Yeah, Cejudo, I heard, has been training with like an Olympic boxing trainer recently. He probably knows all the Olympic trainers,
Yeah, because he's a gold medalist.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if his striking has improved drastically at all or significantly since the last fight with DJ.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really strike too much in that fight, he just kind of pinned him down.
Yeah, out-wrestled him.
Yeah.
But also that's because DJ broke his foot.
Yeah, this is true.
But Cejudo can hold his own with the boxing. He's very good on stand-up. He's a top of the rankings mixed martial artist. Of course he's going to be able to strike.
And TJ trains with Dwayne Ludwig, so it makes him a very dynamic striker. I really like just like the way he moves, he has his own little like style,
Yeah.
like style of movement, and I think it's really hard to figure out. But Cejudo obviously has probably been studying him a lot.
Yeah.
So I think the most interesting part will be if Cejudo will be able to strike with TJ, because I think TJ's wrestling is, if not better, but it should be enough
to nullify
Yeah.
Cejudo's. Yeah, that's what I liked in the whole buildup of it. Cejudo just thinks that he's gonna be able to just take him down at will, and like he couldn't take DJ down at will, who's a smaller guy.
who is also injured.
Yeah,
yeah.
and like Dillashaw is a beast. Like I'm sure he works on grappling every day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both these guys pretty even in their win stats, pretty even in the average fight time. I mean, the lighter weight classes don't really, they don't really have early finishes that often. Most of their fights are about the third round.
But I'd like to think at this point, like Dillashaw can get the early finishes just because he picks his strikes so well and mixes it up so good.
It's great to see, like, as the fighters advance and advance, how they get more patient and patient.
Yeah.
And they don't chase the finish. Yeah. That's why I really like Israel Adesanya. He's been talking about it, like, since before he even got into the UFC, how he, like, stays really patient and, like, picks his shots. And I think, those are... I mean, obviously, we all love the brawlers, but those are the guys that really, like, make it to the top.
But that's why I like Adesanya, too, because he'll lull you into a brawl, but he's not brawling.
Exactly.
He's just fucking you up, like, piece by piece. But, yeah, I feel like Dillashaw is the same way, and it's at a smaller weight class, so it's a lot better to watch, like, his volume and, like, the way he moves.
Yeah, super fast, too. Yeah. These little guys are insanely quick.
Yeah, sometimes you almost don't even see the strike. Like, But, yeah, 50% knockout rate for Dillashaw, and if you look at the age of both the guys, they're right at the point where they're going to figure it out. They're both 31 years old, going into their prime, basically. And
totally ripped.
They were both saying in the press conference they're stronger than they've ever been, and everyone was worried about Dillashaw. Yeah, pretty much. But Dillashaw was saying, like, no problem cutting down to 125. He looks a little sick, but I'm sure he's making the weight.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
It's professional,
Yeah.
I mean, has he done 125 before?
No, he hasn't. Oh, I think on the Ultimate Fighter he did.
Yeah, like a while ago, right?
When he was like 20. But yeah, both guys, high work rate, not very accurate for statistic wise, but we see their fights. They land strikes very well.
Yeah, and it's great that they're both a positive ratio in terms of landing versus absorb. So they're both like decent strikers and not just brawlers, and they like to pick their shots and stuff.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up earlier about how Dillashaw moves and stuff. He moves his head really good. Like he gets out of the way, and his feet are moving at the same time.
Yeah, that he has this one. I think I've shown it to you off recording, but where he does a little shuffle with his feet, and then he like slips to the side with his head. Yeah, that's one of the. I think Dillashaw moves like his signature.
Yeah, because he's just mobile. Like he's on his bike the whole time, getting out of the way,
going left and right. Like yeah. So it should be a very interesting fight. I think TJ does have the advantage here, but yeah, we'll see if Cejudo comes out with a different game plan, and if his striking can be on par or be even better than TJ's. But I think this fight will go to decision for sure.
Yeah, I agree as well. Either that or Dillashaw knocks him out. So
yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see until Saturday, which is tomorrow now. Really excited for this whole card. ESPN.
First card of the year should be very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And that'll be it for today. We'll be tuning in back again on Saturday night or Sunday. Which one?
Sunday.
Sunday? Yeah, Sunday night. And we'll be discussing the after the results of the event.
About how we were wrong about everything.
Yeah, if you've watched a few of our last these discussion videos, we're often wrong, but
hey, give
it's
us a
the
break.
Fight game.
It's MMA, yeah.
It's the
you
fight
never
game.
know.
Yeah. Anyways, hopefully another Barely Serious episode coming next week.
Let's
as well.
do a Barely Serious tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Or you?
How about we do the Fairly Serious tomorrow night, right after the event,
Okay.
and then we do Barely Serious on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's the schedule.
All right, for sure. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow and on Sunday. Have a good morning.